Before we get into this business interview, we're asking for your subscription and for your feedback on this and all of our business interviews that you'd like. Just scroll down and click on the subscribe button or leave your comments. Thanks.
This is the Biz News Podcast, one-on-one conversations with experts in business and personal development.
According to its research, the polling firm Gallup says employee engagement is slumping in the United States. Fewer than 1 out of 3 people drawing a paycheck is actually engaged with their work, says Gallup. And Gallup says 1 out of 6 of your workers that you're paying is actively disengaged. A little gratitude, real gratitude, might solve this, says Lisa Ryan, a former welder who for more than a decade has been showing businesses how they can keep their employees engaged in their work. She joins us in this Biz News interview podcast to tell us how. Lisa, you might be considered the Miss Gratitude of the 21st century. You are talking about gratitude to tough manufacturing managers and just about anybody who'll listen. Why?
Gratitude is really the foundation of business. It's a foundation of life, because as Mother Teresa once said, we are more starved for appreciation than we are for bread. So it really doesn't matter what role you play in society or in life. When you feel valued, when you feel appreciated, when you feel like you are making a commitment to the mission of an organization, your chance of staying there increases dramatically versus other people who think that their employees are just there for the money and that's it. So just giving creating that culture of appreciation works. And from my personal experience with a gratitude practice, that really led up to me knowing that my mission was to share this with as many people as possible. And because I happen to like manufacturers and blue collar industrial trades and workers, that really has become my market.
Lisa, you speak as a person who I guess began her adult working career as a welder. So how does gratitude apply to welding?
Well, it's kind of funny because I was in the welding industry for 7 years. I was in sales and I sold a line of maintenance engineered welding supplies. So MIG, TIG, stick, basically alloys, everything for the weld shop and to reduce downtime and maintenance. And what I found is that I loved being around passionate people who made things. So going into steel mills and auto plants, and I got to go down in the salt mine. And so being a mile under Lake Erie and 4 miles out. So I had lots of experiences in that way. And because it's historically been such a male dominated industry, and of course it was when I was in sales, there only 10% of the sales force were female. You've always had kind of that idea that, well, why should I thank you for doing your job? Or, suck it up, buttercup, get back to work. I don't need to appreciate you. And number one, you have a lot of people that are in manufacturing, but they're starting to, the graying of our workforce, they're starting to leave. And we need to find new ways to attract people into manufacturing, into the trades. And that's changing the conversation. Number one, starting with the parents and the guidance counselors and stuff, but also giving people the opportunity where they still feel that they're making a difference. And I feel that in manufacturing, in construction, there's that immediate gratification of being a part of something where there's tangible evidence of the job that you do.
But as a line manager, we're not talking about the top guys,
Mhm.
but the people who are in the trenches working essentially alongside the people that they are supervising. How do they apply gratitude when all they're getting hammered on from their head, on the top of their heads, is get it done, and get it done cheaply?
Well, that's interesting because as I say in my programs, that managers will raise their people the way that they were raised. So if you have a, toxic leadership that doesn't believe in any of these soft skills, which actually don't exist, they are essential skills, the chances of those managers thereby appreciating, acknowledging their team members goes down substantially. So what I like to do is give those managers the tools to create those moments, because every day we create moments with people, and some of those moments will make the employee's day a little bit better, and some of those moments make their day a little bit worse. So no matter what role you have in the organization, from the top, the leader, the C-suite, the owner, down to the lowliest of the low hourly worker, everybody in that organization has the opportunity to create those moments. What I tell a lot of managers, though, if they feel like they're, beating their head against the wall because they're not getting support and they're not, it's just about getting the job done quickly and cheaply, then sometimes they have to assess for themselves, do I really want to spend the rest of my career at this job, or do I want to look for a company that's doing things better and leave?
And that may account for a lot of the so-called great resignation. It's not just because you could get more money down the street, it's because of what you have to put up with where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, my husband was part of the Great Reassessment. He was working for a manufacturing company, but his company was not deemed essential. And so he was furloughed for 8 months. And in that time, the company got bought by a venture capital company, and the writing was kind of on the wall. But then when Scott got called back to work and it was just a miserable experience, Scott was like, do I really want to spend the rest of my career here? But at the time, he was also 59 years old. And he's like, well, who's going to hire me? So he had updated his LinkedIn profile, and he had just kind of, was keeping his ears open as different recruiters or companies called him based on his profile. And the day before his 60th birthday, he got made an offer by a company. He quit his other job via Zoom, which I think is hysterical. But the reason why he did it on Zoom is because we were on vacation at the time. So it was either wait a week and then give your 2-week notice, or basically give a 3-week notice by saying, hey, I just accepted another job. I will come back and finish out the 2 weeks. So he actually did them a favor by giving them a little bit more advanced warning. But he loves this job, and he's the old dude that works there. He reports to a woman who's half his age, but he feels, not only does he feel valued because they're always thanking him and letting him know what a great job he is and making him feel really included and valuable as a team member, but he's also been given flexibility in that a couple days at home, Wednesdays and Fridays, he works from home, which his other company was like, oh no, we don't trust you. You have to be here because we don't believe you're working unless you're here. Now, in manufacturing, when you have workers on the floor, yeah, that can't be done remote, but time is still the one thing that we all have an equal share of. So it's flexibility however you can. Maybe it's core hours. You can come anywhere in from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning. You can work from 3 until 6. As long as you get your 8 hours in, we don't care how you get it done. And sometimes just that little bit of flexibility is enough to keep people because they have a choice in the matter.
Are you finding that that type of management is becoming more prevalent, or especially in industry, heavy industry?
Well, it's interesting because since Gallup started recording the employee engagement levels, it really has not changed. They started doing it around the year 2000, and they found that approximately in the United States, 30% of employees are actively engaged. These are your profitable rock stars. 50% of your employees are disengaged, meaning that they are doing exactly enough work so that they don't get fired, and they're probably making just enough money so that they don't quit. And then the bottom 20% are your horrible toxic employees that suck the life out of your business. So if we look at that bell curve, that's where most companies are, and the numbers haven't changed, which means that you have companies on the high end that are at 70, 80, 90% highly engaged. And you have other companies at the low end where they don't care, and they may have 10% or lower engagement levels. So it's definitely changing, and particularly with the last 2 years with the pandemic, in that business owners and leaders realize that they have to look at their business differently. We have to be more flexible. We have to be more empathetic. We have to think about our businesses differently. There's not enough workers to fulfill all the jobs that are open. So we have to start looking at automation, not to necessarily replace all of our workers, but what automation does is, number one, it takes over some of the jobs that people hate. Find out the jobs that people hate doing the most, the grunt work, automate those, but then it also becomes a recruiting tool, because when you have younger people come in and they're not seeing equipment that's 50 years old, they're seeing, clean, new automation robotics. They're saying, wow, this is the coolest place ever. I want to work here. So we look at it from both ends of the spectrum, that adding automation, number one, technology has gotten so much easier just in the last 2 years because of the pandemic, but we're doing it to help alleviate some of the labor shortage and to use it as a recruiting tool so that we can attract more people to our business.
Can gratitude be a recruiting or retention tool? And if so, how would you apply it?
Absolutely. And that starts like T minus when the person takes the job to begin with. So 2 weeks maybe before they start, they sign the paperwork, and you're sending them an email, maybe a video email. Oh, we are so excited to have you come on. Thank you so much for making the decision to join us. One audience member that I had shared that in the interview process, they actually found out, they were about to make an offer to this guy. They found out his wife's favorite restaurant. And in the offer letter, they sent and they included a gift certificate to that restaurant, thanking the wife for her role in, encouraging her husband to join the organization. They got to go to a nice dinner. And you think about the fact that if that guy in the first couple of weeks wants to quit, his wife is going to go, oh no, buddy, nobody has ever done that to us before. They're a great company. You need to start working there. So from the very beginning, finding out how employees like to be recognized. There's a tool I like to call the All About Me sheet, where you're finding things out like your employees' favorite candy bar, their favorite gift card, their favorite, how they like to be recognized. Because there's some people that love getting recognized, put me on the big stage, give me a plaque. I am good with that public approbation. And there are other people that are like, if you call me up in front of a group of people, that will be terrifying and I don't like it. So you figure out maybe that other person just likes a Post-it note or a one-on-one of being specific as far as what it is they're doing well.
You have taken your message to many organizations for years now. How has COVID affected the reception of your message?
Oh, it has gotten so hot right now. And that's primarily because of the gratitude portion of it. I mean, employee engagement and retention has always been a huge part of my business, but it was always the bulk of the programs that I presented. Now it is almost 50-50, and gratitude may be edging out retention even a little bit, because we need that acknowledgement of being able to find the good when literally everything is going wrong around us. Our world's falling apart. I look at, March of 2020 as a full-time keynote speaker and facilitator and trainer. When your business goes to zero, over the course of a couple weeks, because it didn't even happen overnight. There was this false hope that whatever this COVID thing does, it's going to be done by the end of May. Yeah, we didn't know that would be May of 2022 when that happened. But I have personally had a gratitude practice, a daily practice, since 2009. And I can assure you that if it wasn't for that practice, I would not have fared as well. And my business would not be right back to where it is today, meaning that, 2 years later, I'm having a record year and it's May. So and a lot of that has to do with, again, you look for the good. People feel better. There's less stress. There's fewer safety accidents. They feel more committed to the organization. They're less likely to leave. And beside all that, they have better relationships at home with their family, with their loved ones, less stress, because they're able to take the time every day and find one or two good things amidst everything else that's going on.
Well, before somebody dials your number and gets you committed to another thing, we better give our listeners and viewers an idea of how they can get hold of you.
Oh, absolutely. My website is LisaRyanSpeaks.com. And I have lots of videos and stuff there, but there's also on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, always posting video tips and my podcast episodes and everything there. Just make sure that when you connect with me on LinkedIn, that you say that you send a note that says that you heard me on the show. So not that I am really aware, I just really watch LinkedIn because there's so many people that try to sell on the first call contact. And so I'm a little hesitant unless somebody puts that personal note, hey, heard you on the show today. And so I appreciate that. But between those two and my website and LinkedIn, those are definitely the best ways to get a hold of me.
Lisa, what would you like to add that we've not talked about?
Gratitude really starts with you. So finding a daily practice of some kind, for me, it's a gratitude journal that I wake up in the morning, and before my feet hit the ground to take that long walk down the hallway, I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for, and adding detail to it. Because if every day I wrote down, I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful for my cats, I'm grateful for my house, it would get really boring. But if I say that I'm so grateful that Scott cooked a great dinner last night, or I'm so grateful for binge watching Netflix with my cat Tinkerbell on my lap, something to get you into the mode of really not only writing it down so you're getting the senses of it, but doing that for yourself. Do it for 30 days. Take my 30-day gratitude challenge. Now, at the end of 30 days, the goal is that you keep going. My evil plan is that you like it so much and you see the difference that you keep going. But chances are in 30 days, not only will you feel a difference, but the people around you will notice as well. And just that your energy will change, and it will get you through the most difficult time. So that personal gratitude starting with you is more important than anything you can do in the workplace.
You've been watching the Biz News Podcast. We welcome your input. Send your email to editor@biznews.com. Thanks for watching.